Culture swap.
Culture swap. Swap my culture. What did we do this time, Jack?
This time, Liam, we watched a film that was suggested to us by Joana.
Yeah.
Who is a listener that's listened to us since the beginning.
Maybe not anymore, but...
We're not sure.
No.
If you are listening, hey Joanna. We watched Blue is the Warmest Color.
We did. I did tweet Joanna to ask if she could let us know like a bit of setup for this section so we could sort of get some reasons as to why she chose it.
Yep, I think I'm looking at the reply.
Yeah. Do you want to read that out?
Is it the one that says, I don't remember that I suggested this. I watched it about a year ago. Let's see what I remember.
Yeah. So, that was good.
That's fair enough. I mean, we did leave it quite a long time to do this one.
Yeah, that's true. We did.
And that's our bad.
Yeah. Right. What is it about, Jack?
So, this film is about a girl called Adèle, who we start with her in high school. Mm-hmm. She wants to date men, but starts realising that she's a lesbian.
Yeah. And
then that's sort of the film.
Yeah, it's a French film. That's worth pointing out, I think.
Maybe.
So we get the title Blue is the Warmest Color, but the French get the title, and I'm going to butcher it now, but La vie d'Adèle, chapitres 1 and 2.
Wait, so is that chapters 1 and 2?
Yeah, because the director had the idea that at some point in the future he might want to revisit this character. So he titled it that as a sort of way to enable him to do that.
Why chapters 1 and 2, though?
I sort of see why. Because,
I mean, yeah, I can see where the split would be.
Yeah, it's very much a film of two halves, I think.
I'll tell you what, Liam.
Yeah?
I'd have really liked it if he split it into two halves.
And then released those halves separately.
Yep, and then we just did one of them.
Right. Before we get to that, it's based on a graphic novel, also titled Blue is the Warmest Color, by Julie Moreau.
Yep.
Has it made you want to read that at all?
No.
Okay. I've got a little fun fact about this film for you.
Go on.
I don't know how to say the director's name, but fuck me, I'm going to give it a go, okay?
It's my favourite thing about you, Liam. Go for it.
So, the director, Abdellatif Kechiche.
Yep, sure.
He initially wrote a script about the personal life and career of a French teacher, but, didn't really know what to do with it. So, he read the graphic novel, and the graphic novel is more about, focused on, a lesbian sort of love story, and then decided to, fold that into the script that he's written.
Right.
So that might explain why there's a bit of a weird, juxtaposition between these two kind of themes going in. I mean, I would say the life and career of a French teacher isn't a huge aspect. It feels like he was like, I've got a script here, but this graphic novel's better, so let's focus more on that, and we'll just chuck some of the teaching in for fun.
Yeah. I have a fun fact for you, Liam.
Yeah?
The actress that plays Adèle
Yeah.
is called Adèle.
Yeah.
And in the original script, she had a different name.
Yeah.
But because so many of the scenes were shot just when they were eating dinner and stuff, they're just legitimately eating dinner and being filmed.
Yeah, I think also there's someone she's sleeping as well.
Yeah, and loads of actors or people in the crew would just accidentally call her Adèle.
Yeah. So
they changed the character's name so that they didn't have to worry about it.
A following fun fact to that.
Oh god, do we have nothing else to say about this film except fun facts?
No, I'm sure we do. I don't know how to say this name either. Seydoux, who played Emma, refused to have her actual name be the character name. It was one of her conditions for taking on the role, is that they couldn't use her name like they did with Adèle.
Yeah.
So, okay, let's get on to the film. Let's put fun facts to one side.
Fourth fun fact, Liam.
Okay.
Both actresses, after this film, said that they would never work with the director again.
I want to get onto that, but I want us to get there. Okay?
Yep.
So.
Fifth... No, I'm joking. Carry on.
I'm just curious.
Yes.
And we'll talk about the length later. Try and remove the fact that it's 3 hours from the equation.
Okay.
What's your, thoughts and feelings about the story? Just the story.
Okay. Bits of it were interesting.
Okay.
Right? Mm-hmm. So, early on, there's some stuff where she's... Oh, listeners, if you're listening to this, we're going to do spoilers. So, If you want to go see this film, I don't know why you would, but if you do, some of you will. That was mean. I'm sorry.
I didn't mind it. I didn't mind it. I didn't love it, but I didn't mind it. So
if you like this kind of film, you'll probably like it.
Yeah. It's coming of age, isn't it, at the end of the day?
Sort of. But
and lesbians.
right. So, some of the stuff early on where she's coming out, or not coming out, someone sees that she went to her gay friend takes her to a gay nightclub.
Yeah.
She then sneaks off, goes to a lesbian bar.
Yeah.
And the gay friend tells some of her like close school friends, and one of them particularly freaks out and is like, "You've slept naked in my bed. You were just trying to see my vagina.
You're never gonna be able to get my pussy." That sort of.
Yes. And then Adele's like, "I don't want to. I'm not a lesbian anyway."
Yeah.
But like it all blows up, and like I was like, "Oh, okay. Well, this is quite interesting. If the story's sort of like, how is she going to come to terms with being a lesbian and all the issues around that?" But the film then just never deals with that situation again, ever. It goes, look, her friends don't like her anymore.
Yeah, and then we just never see the friends again.
Yeah, it just goes, let's move on. And then there's a bit where Adele and Emma are at Adele's parents. They've had a meal at Emma's, and Emma's parents know that they're a lesbian couple.
Yep, and they're pretty chill about it.
Yeah, they're both like quite cool people who are totally accepting. So then they go and have dinner at Adele's, and Adele hasn't told her parents. So there's this whole weird scene where they're like, "Oh, what does your boyfriend do?" to Emma, and she's sort of lying and saying, "Oh, he's a businessman." And I was like, "Oh, okay." So now there's going to be a scene where Emma's like, "Why haven't you told them? You know, that's an issue."
Yeah.
Instead, they just have lesbian sex for a while, and then we move on again. And I was like, this film is setting up situations that could be interesting, and I would like the film to look at. And then instead of dealing with them, it just jumps forward in time and goes, "Cool, now she's a teacher." And you're like, what?
Did you notice one of the things that this film sort of touches upon, but not massively, is the social class divide, and particularly it's apparent, I think, with those two dinner scenes.
Yeah,
like
where
Adele's family are a lot more sort of blue collar, like versus Emma's parents, who are a lot more sort of free spirited, shall we say?
Yeah, but I don't think it's not like particularly. But again, I can see what you're saying, and there definitely could have been. And it could have been a plot point.
Yeah,
but it isn't.
I think it's less a plot point. It's more there to kind of shorthand to fill you in a little bit more on where these characters are coming from. So by doing that, you kind of get the idea, right? Emma has been brought up in this very like open, accepting family, versus Adele, who obviously feels the need to hide like
but
her
I don't
sexuality.
Think but they never established that Adele's family wouldn't be accepting.
No, it's just
that's the thing. If they'd given me a scene where like her dad was like, "Oh, I've heard rumours, and I'm not happy," then I'd have got it more. But it just to me felt like she's scared to tell them. Understandably, I get that.
Yeah.
But because there was no more dealt with it, you can't jump to the assumption that there's a reason for it other than she's just worried that they'll be upset.
Yeah.
Like honestly, right? So one of my main problems with this film was, to me, both characters come across a little bit like dickheads at different points, because Emma seems fine for most of the film.
Okay.
But Adele does a lot of stuff where I was like, well, you're sort of just taking the piss.
Such as, because I never really like, there was only one incident where I really felt like with Adele, more towards the end of the film.
Well, okay, so at the beginning, Adele sleeps with the guy and then immediately breaks up with him.
Yeah, which I get. Like, if you're not, because right, one other thing to sort of say is Adele isn't like a full-on lesbian. Another thing we should say.
She's probably bisexual.
Yeah, and me and you, we're not like experts in this sort of thing. Like,
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm pretty expert at it, Liam.
I mean, I'm going to be honest. If you looked at our internet histories, you would think we were. But that's a very like different type of lesbian to what you would find like in real life.
Well, I don't know, Liam. Some of the scenes in this film.
That's a good point. But yeah, so like obviously when we talk about this, it's not like we're coming. We haven't gone through these sort of things. So it's not like we're coming from experience when we're discussing it. We're just sort of saying how it feels to us.
Yeah.
But that's one of the big issues I found with the film. Because it was directed by a straight male director. And I feel like to tell this story fairly, it needs to have been done from a female perspective. Because one of the big like talking points about this film is the sex scenes. Like, we cannot discuss this film without talking about the excessive, lengthy sex scene. I think one of them took 10 days to shoot.
Yes, it took 10 days to shoot, and it's a 7-minute scene.
Yeah. Now, that is a lot less problematic if it's filmed by like a gay female director versus it being filmed by a straight male director, because he's obviously not coming from like necessarily a sense of not understanding, but it's tainted by like the male gaze, right?
Yeah, I guess. But that's, I don't know.
It's a problem. That's all I'm saying. Like, especially when you look at how lengthy the sex scenes are.
No, but I think you're attaching too much. It didn't come across that way to me.
See, to me,
I didn't watch it and go, oh, this was just some straight guy who was like, yeah, I'm writing this story. Also, let's have a real 7 minutes of erotic lovemaking.
It's not like, oh, I'm doing this to get myself off. But I'm just saying it is problematic within the confines of this story. I think it would have come across very different and probably better with someone else behind the camera.
That's fair.
More authentic, I guess, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Because the sex scenes, I'm not going to lie, I found them titillating.
See, I did. The issue I had with them was that there were, 2 hours and 40 minutes of footage around them that was slowly killing me.
Right, yeah.
So it got to them, and I was like, oh, this is a nice break. But most of my time watching this film was every 20 minutes twiddling my mouse and going, Jesus, how was that only 20 minutes?
Yeah, I think the biggest issue you had with this film was how long it was.
There was a moment, Liam, where I did the math at the beginning, and I went, I'm 20 minutes in, that's a sixth of the movie. And then 10 minutes later, when I was half an hour in, I went, I did that maths wrong. Now I'm a sixth of the way through the movie. And I was so devastated with that realisation.
Right, okay.
It's too long, Liam.
I agree. Like, I mean, one, the sex scenes didn't need to be as long as they were, and then that knocks on effect to the movie doesn't need to be as long as it is. Because, essentially, you have several story strands here which could have made a good movie, although, admittedly, maybe something that... I don't know if it's even something that's overdone. Like, I haven't seen a lot of, like, coming out movies.
No.
So, I feel like if you'd have just focused on maybe that aspect, or even an aspect of a lesbian couple who are new into a relationship, they're new into their careers, and they're just trying to figure out how to live together. Like,
or to be fair, they're even I could see there being a decent shorter movie that did the same thing, but like jumping through their lives sort of thing.
Yeah.
But the issue is because they tried to introduce all those plot points that didn't go anywhere. Like if you stripped out just them, so like the awkward stuff with her friends, if you strip that out, strip out some of the stuff when they're sort of adults, some of the bullshit bits that didn't need to be there, you could have a decent story that was this couple first meeting each other, the slow breakdown of their relationship, or the very sudden breakdown of their relationship, and then them trying to come to terms with that.
Yeah.
You could have that story and that would still be a good story.
Yeah, I agree. Like, one of my absolute favourite scenes was when they first properly meet in the bar.
Yeah.
I loved that because they're flirting, they're sort of getting to know each other. Like, Emma very quickly, I think, cottons on to the fact that Adèle is very new to all of this.
Yeah.
And it's kind of playful the way they like talking, and like obviously for me, that's right up my street. That's the sort of thing that I love seeing. There wasn't enough of that, I don't think. I think the problem, the biggest problem this film had for me is it was too focused on the sex. And I get that there are certain relationships that are very, like, they're built on a foundation of sex. I get that. But I think for this story, they needed to build up the characters through more dialogue and more getting to know each other than just the sex.
Yeah, that's a good point. Because what do you actually know about these characters?
You know that Emma's like an artist and is into art, and Adèle wants to be a teacher.
Yeah.
And is more into English, like literature.
Yep, exactly. What else do you know about these characters other than their jobs?
Yeah, there's not a lot else.
No, there isn't.
And that I mean, because I thought of a film that we're gonna definitely do one day called Before Sunrise, which is about two people meeting and them falling for each other, but it's entirely just told through dialogue.
Yeah.
And this film needed like a heavy dose of that to work, I think.
Yep, I agree.
The other issue I had, I don't know if you noticed this, the amount of close-ups there were.
Oh, go on. I didn't particularly, I don't think.
It felt to me like the vast majority of this film was told via close-ups of like characters' faces, and I therefore found that to be quite like disorientating. Like, I think the effect that the director was going for was for it to be intimate, and you then feel closer to these characters because you're like right in their face.
Yeah.
But like the scene where there's a couple of scenes where she's with her friends, and because it's all like just close up from one friend to the next friend to Adèle, I kind of felt myself like wanting a break from the constant close-ups, just a shot a little bit further away, just to give some idea of the location, like where we are. Like there were several times in the film where I was like, I don't understand like what's going on outside of this conversation.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Now I'm picturing that scene where her friend freaks out that she's a lesbian. And you're right, there are a lot of close-ups. It hadn't particularly registered, but now I'm sort of remembering that scene, and I'm like, yeah, no, you do just get sort of zoomed in on everyone.
Yeah, and it's kind of frustrating.
Yeah.
Good things, though. I did think the acting was really good.
Yeah, they're both good actresses.
Yeah. So this leads us on to that point you started making earlier about the harassment.
Oh, I didn't know anything about it. I just heard that one fact, that they both said they didn't want to work with him.
Yeah, apparently it is. So, like, other crew members said that the conditions weren't very good, like poor working conditions, really long hours, no breaks or anything were allowed. I think one of the issues was the fact that he was filming all the time, like even when they were just trying to like be themselves. I think
I'm seeing here, Liam, that he shot approximately 800 hours of footage.
Yeah,
which is insane.
Yeah, and I think there was maybe some sort of invasion of privacy going on there, perhaps. Yep,
sounds like it might have been.
Yeah. So I think they both said that they felt they were sort of harassed by the director and would never work with him again. But then Seydoux later on said, like, while it was very difficult to film, she is pleased with the product and proud of the film.
Yeah.
So I don't know how to feel about it, to be honest.
I mean, I do. I didn't enjoy it.
Yeah, I get that. I enjoyed some of it. I didn't have an issue with it being 3 hours. Like, it didn't fly by. But I didn't find it was dragging.
Oh, mine, it's super dragged for me.
Yeah. Again, I wasn't like checking the time every 20 minutes, so that maybe I kind of got just.
But I was only doing that because of how much it was dragging.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, it wasn't like I was sitting there going, oh, I'll just check the time every now and then. It was literally because I was like, please, I've got to be nearly halfway through. No, I'm not. I'm not even close.
What did you think of the use of the colour blue?
I mean, yeah. I don't get what the point is of that.
What do you mean?
Like, why? Why are the things that she loves blue and shit? Like, what's that about?
Oh, I don't think it's necessarily like she loves it because it's blue. I think
no. It's as a way of showing. Yeah, I get it, but I don't understand why.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things where it's you can read into it like various ways. Like, it's quite significant that when she falls for Emma has blue hair, and then towards the end when they have a huge like falling out and break up, Emma's hair's back to like blonde.
Yep.
So I think blue is just used as quite lazy shorthand to kind of direct you to where Adèle, her like emotions for like lust and stuff are directed.
But I don't think I needed that because it was pretty obvious without the blue.
Yeah, it's just one of those like
toward like
things,
quite early on when they did the blue. When you see the blue hair thing, I was like, oh, okay, I see what they're doing. And I think there were a couple of other bits quite early on where I was like, oh, there's blue there. I see he's doing a blue thing.
Yeah.
But then that again. Probably because I was so exasperated, it just sort of became like, I don't know. I have an issue with arty things. Like, I like art; it's fine. But there's something. It's like you had that issue with where you assumed that Nameless and stuff, where you were like, I think they're trying to be smart.
Yeah.
To me, when people are being arty, a lot of the time it comes across the same way. Where to me it feels like something's quite heavy-handed. Like, we're going to use this colour blue, and that's going to represent stuff. And to me, I'm like, if you can't express that with people acting, you fucked up. That's not art. That's you being lazy. By being like, look, now you can see what she's feeling because that person's wearing blue to signify that's what she's feeling.
Yeah.
And I think I'm just like, chill the fuck out. Be normal.
I think sometimes it can be interesting. Like,
I'm sure it probably can, Liam.
Yeah, like when we had Amanda on and we were doing quite a deep dive into Ghost World.
But that's less. That's not like they weren't using, because that was the green stuff, right? Everything was sort of had that green tint.
Yeah, which was
but that's less because everything's that. It's a stylistic choice.
Yeah, but I'm just saying. So I think if we, for example, had someone on who was an expert in like blue is the warmest color, they could give you a lot of reasons behind why it's the blue is used the way it is. But for us, without really like thinking about it a lot and probably reading around the topic, we're just looking at it kind of with a level of ignorance where we're not kind of going, oh, I see in this scene the blue means that, and maybe later on it means something different.
No, but I mean, so the green tint to everything was because it was meant to represent the fact that the sort of TV culture and stuff, right? That, to me, that's a simple, you make a style choice where you go, cool, stuff's green.
Yeah.
Like the graphic novel, they were like, we're going to use that green colour instead of the black. Mm-hmm. Or everything's going to be coloured that way to represent shadow. That's a real simple style choice. That's fine, because that's you making a stylistic choice. This isn't that. This is things are blue. Like,
but I think there's a reason behind it.
If someone knows, genuinely, if someone out there knows and has a good reason, please email it to me. And if I read it and I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense, I will tell you. If I think you're full of horseshit, I will probably also tell you that. So be prepared for that.
Okay. What would you give it out of 5?
2.
That's higher than I thought you'd go.
It's a begrudging 2. It's getting a 2 because there was because of the potential that was there, I think.
Okay. I'm going to go 3.5 out of 5.
That seems very high.
Like I said, I never felt bored or anything during it.
Yeah,
for a 3-hour film, that's kind of impressive. While, it maybe didn't tell the story that I would have preferred it to have told, I didn't, hate what he was doing at any point. I think it should have been better. I think it should have been done differently in different hands. I think you could have had a really good film here. The acting massively made it a lot better. And like I said, there were certain scenes that I did really enjoy. So it was a little bit better than average for me, but it's on the scale of 3.5. It's on the lower end.
Okay.
Next time,
Liam, we are going to be doing a graphic novel.
We are, because I am away on a work trip and need to do something that I can do while I'm away.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we're going to be doing Hellblazer, Original Sins, Volume 1.
Yes. Yes, we are.
Yep.
So
neither of us have read this?
No, I'm very excited because I've heard a lot of good things about John Constantine, who's the main character.
Yeah, I've read the Lucifer series, which Constantine cameoed in a couple of times.
Okay, so I'm very excited to find out why this character is raved about.
Yeah, it should be interesting.
I hope so.
Yeah, hopefully.
If other people have read it or are going to read it and they want to get involved, let us know their thoughts and feelings, how could they do that?
You can tweet us at nerdonnerd, or you can email us at nerdonnerdpod@gmail.com, or you could leave us a post on our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/nerdonnerdpod. Or you could comment on a YouTube video. If you're listening to this in a YouTube video, then you could probably just click down at the bottom.
Yeah.
If you're not, then go to our YouTube by
How
searching
do they find it?
Nerd on Nerd Episode 1 Flashlight gets you there.
Perfect. Yeah.
Rate, review us on iTunes.
Yeah.
Follow us on SoundCloud.
We're around. There's
everywhere.
plenty of places for them to find us.
We're like a persistent black mould.
Yeah.
And we won't go away till you give us 5 stars.
Well.
And then we'll probably actually stay longer, so your choice.
Yeah, that won't get rid of us, will it?
No.
But it would be nice.
Please do it.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye.
Bye.